Good morning, students. I am pleased to welcome to this video. Today we will study a poem titled Meeting at Night by Robert Browning. First, we will read the poem Meeting at Night by Robert Browning. The grey sea and the long black lands and the yellow half moon large and low, and the startled little waves that leap in fairy ringlets from their sleep. As I gain the cove with pushing prow and quench its speed in the slushy sands. Then a mile of warm sea-scented beach, 3 fields to cross till a farm appears. A tap at the pane, the quick sharp scratch, and blue spots of a lighted match, and a voice less loud through its joys and fears than the 2 hearts beating each to each. Let me explain the poem first. In the first 2 lines, the writer describes the surrounding. Before we analyze the poem line by line, we can analyze the title. The title of the poem is Meeting at Night. The title gives clear picture of what happens. Meeting, the time we come to know that the time is night. The meeting takes place at a night time. Of course, a strange time for the meeting. Further, we can understand the meeting is held under the cover of darkness, which may have reasons why this particular meeting is not held at a time on that day. When you search the reason for it, you can have a fact from the autobiography of the writer as an answer. Though the title suggests a general meeting, here, when we read the poem, we can understand this is a meeting of 2 lovers. It is a meeting of a male and a female person. And the meeting takes place at a night time, because of the oppression and unhappiness of the father, of female's father towards this love affair. The grey sea and the long black lands. The difficult journey the speaker has taken to meet his lover has been explained well. On the way of his journey, the physical landscape, the aspects of the physical landscape are explained well, are described well. In that manner, the first line, in the first line, the writer describes the sea and the lands. The sea is gray in color and the land is black because of the darkness. Because of the darkness and because of the absence of lights. Also, those two dictions, such as sea and land, reveal the vast area in which the speaker has to travel to meet his lover. The time is night. Which highlights a dangerous situation on one hand. On the other hand, the scale of the physical landscape, the vast area of the land and the color of the sea raises a sense of danger in the poem. You can see the writer has used two colors in the first line of this poem, gray and black. Which indicates the ferocious nature of the surrounding. So the speaker has to travel passing these dangerous landscapes, a grey sea and a long black lands, and a yellow half moon large and low. The second line further emphasizes the story takes place at a night time since the moon appears in the sky. The speaker does not witness the sun in the sky. Instead, the speaker witnesses a yellow half moon, which is large and low in the sky. The writer has used two adjectives. You can see in the second line, the writer brings visual imagery. The yellow half moon enables the readers to visualize the moon in the sky, which is large and low. Since the moon is half, it does not provide enough lights. And the startled little waves that leap, the movement of the waves of the sea has been mentioned in the third line. In fairy ringlets from their sleep. In the third and the fourth line, in the third and the fourth lines, you can see according to the writer, the waves are awakened from its sleep. From that, the writer tries to bring two main messages. One, since it is awakened, the writer highlights it towards the morning at the night. On the other hand, the writer employs personification. Here, as these inanimate objects, the nature has given human attributes. As I gain the core with pushing pro and quench its speed in the slushy sands. It is the first stanza of this poem. The first stanza starts with a description of the place, of the surrounding. The speaker is in the sea on a vessel, and the speaker is coming towards the beach. Coming towards the beach. Even though the writer does not give any gender-based identities, we don't know whether the speaker is a male person or the female person. Once you finish reading this poem, you can understand the speaker in this poem is a male person who goes in searching his female lover. The speaker who is in a vessel in the sea now coming to the beach and pushing the vessel into the core, and he reduced the speed of the vessel and reaches the sands, the beach. So when you can recall when do you reduce your speed? Once you achieve something. Yes. So the writer has achieved something, or the speaker has achieved something, or the speaker has come closer to something. Because of that, the speaker has reduced his speed. We will see what it is. Then a mile of warm sea-scented beach, 3 fields to cross till a farm appears, a tap at the pane, the quick sharp scratch, and blue spot of a lighted match, and a voice less loud through its joys and fears than the 2 hearts beating each to each. It is the second stanza of this poem, while the first stanza describes the journey and the surrounding of the journey of the narrator. The second stanza of the poem describes the long lands. After reaching the beach, the speaker walks a mile of a distance. The warm sea-scented beach. And he crosses 3 fields and come to his destination. That is a farm. He has come to the place where he has to go. A tap at the pane, the quick sharp scratch, and blue spots of a lighted match. Usually, universally, a place with lighted match symbolically stands for love and passion. the narrator has come to a place which has lit with match. So the last two lines reveal what happened, and the voice lays louder through its joys and fears than the two hearts beating each to each. We come to understand that the narrator has come to meet his lover. He has traveled in the sea and the lands with many difficulties, facing many hardships, passing many dangerous physical landscapes, and finally he meets his lover. Both of their hearts are beating, and their voice less louder. They meet in silence. It is a secret meeting, and they meet in silence. A sense of joy and fear, and the voice is less louder, is not louder than the two hearts beating fast, which indicates the silent nature of their meeting. We will analyze this poem further. The diction meeting in the title indicates the speaker's journey to meet his lover. The meeting is held under the cover of darkness. As Robert Browning is an Victorian poet who belongs to Victorian era, his personal experience has been used to materialize this poem. The meeting takes place in a quiet and secretive setting. As Elizabeth Barrett's father is against to their love affair, his personal experience has been the facts behind this poem. Also, the poem reveals sensual and sexual desires of the speaker, which is against the moral and social practice exercised in Victorian era. Therefore, this is an unusual poem that you can see in Victorian era, since the poets in this era had strict moral and social values. Further, the time of meeting adds a sense of danger because the meeting takes place at a night. The time of meeting increases the risk of speaker's journey. The time of meeting increases the risk of his journey. The meeting of lovers at night suggests the forbidden nature of their romance. They are not allowed to meet in lights. They were forced to meet under the cover of the darkness. Since the writer does not reveal the purpose of his journey at the beginning, a sense of anticipation and suspense are developed throughout the poem. Because the readers are not aware why he is traveling with such difficulties. At the beginning, we anticipate, we are excited. At the same time, we are disappointed to see his courage to continue in continuing his difficult journey in that uncertainty. The meeting takes place at a strange time. The journey is reported at a time when the nature itself should be asleep. A meeting of flowers at night suggests the forbidden nature of their romance, as I have mentioned earlier. Then we will have the meaning for some words which will help us to understand the poem well. Queens reduce. It indicates the nature of the satisfaction reached once an urge or desire is fulfilled. The diction has been taken from the last line of the stanza. The writer then the speaker reduces the speed because the speaker has achieved or reached his satisfaction or his desire is fulfilled. Slashy wet, slashy, the diction stands for wet, which brings visual imagery. The readers can visualize the beach, a wet beach in their mind eyes. Startled indicates an action of sudden agitation or disturbance. Through this, readers can understand the movement of the waves in the sea. The writer describes the scene at the beginning from a vessel in the sea. The waves are leaping and the waves look like fiery ringlets due to the light from the moon. The waves have been awakened, which emphasizes late night of the time. Prow indicates the pointed front part of a ship, of a vessel. When you are reading the first stanza, the writer describes a mysterious coastal landscape. This poem expresses a determined journey of the speaker, a planned journey of the speaker. The speaker has a purpose for his visits, for his journey. Because of that, even though the landscape is dangerous, with uncertainty, the speaker had a courage to travel towards his destination. The phrase warm sea scented beach implies the spring or summer season when the story takes place. The writer does not provide any information on the gender identities, but their desperate desires have been highlighted. The last two lines of the poem highlight the idea of their desperate desires towards each other. Different colors which have been mentioned in the poem bring colorful, vivid imagery. The concept heat is presented in various places of the poem, which indicates love, passion, and a strong sexual desire. For example, then a mile of warm sea-scented beach. The diction warm indicates the heat. Similarly, there are places where the writer employs the concept heat. The heat is in the people. At the same time, the heat prevails in the atmosphere itself. This has been beautifully presented in this poem. Because of the passion, towards each other, Their souls are heats, their bodies are heats, similar to what the atmosphere looked. The two hearts beat strongly together, which suggests the power of love in the face of danger and obstacles. Even though the father of the lady is against and made many obstacles for their love affair, no one could not stop meeting them and exchanging their love. It shows the power of love in the face of danger and obstacles. Further, it suggests that love is precious and worthy in nature. The poem describes a hard journey of the speaker to meet his lover. The poem culminates with the speaker who finally has a meeting with his lover. The speaker succeeds in his mission. The two hearts succeed in their missions. The purpose of his journey is not revealed until the final line of the poem. This creates many questions in readers' minds about the cause of this forwardness so consistently amidst many challenges and uncertain physical landscape. The last line of the poem suggests the intense intimacy of the lovers. The thrill of new love is shown through the visual imagery created with the diction's lighted match. A match-lit meeting place. Light symbolizes the passion. Both of them had towards each other. The passion both of them had towards each other. Poem analysis. The difficulties faced by the lover in his journey implies thrilling nature of any love affair and the readiness and the sacrifice on the part of the lovers in their consistent journey. The grey sea and the long black lands and the yellow half moon, large and low. These lines confirm the nighttime of meeting as the diction's grey and black suggest low visibility. Also, these lines reveal the uncertainty and the potential risk the speaker is likely to face on his way. The first two lines of the poem are descriptive, which establish a setting of the story in the poem. A place which is distinct and mysterious in nature adds danger and it increases risky nature of his journey. As far as uncertainty is concerned, because of the vast area of the place, he is not sure about his safety. Even though there is an uncertainty of life, he does not fail or avoid of his traveling. He continues his journey until he meets his lover. The lyrical voice in the poem sails across the sea at the beginning. The language used in the first stanza is sensual, since they reflect the senses of sight, sound, touch, etc. The action verbs and the imagery used in the poem highlights the themes of anxiety, tension, urgency, etc. The selection of dictions in the above lines helps readers to witness the described seascape and the landscape in their mind eyes using the techniques such as visual, auditory, and tactile imageries. The first-person narration brings a sense of immediacy to the poem. At the same time, it increases a sense of relevancy to the story. The careful employment of dictions and the setting create distinct tones and different modes in the poem. You can write about them in your exercise book. The writer has used various techniques to convey his intended meaning in the poem. They are personification, imagery, symbolism, metaphors, assonance, alliteration, and enjambment, etc. Poetic devices in the poem. Elaboration. Personification. For example, according to the writer, the waves are awakened from the sleep. Thus, the waves are given human attributes. Symbolism. The light of match is a symbolical indication for passion. Metaphor. The writer compares the waves to something fairy and sleepy. Visual imagery. There are examples for visual imagery, auditory imagery, tactile imagery. The writer has used assonance as well. Assonance and alliterations are sound effects. These sound effects function for various purposes. One, it plays a role to create a music. Second function, it correlates with the main themes of the poem. You can see examples and you can elaborate their functions for further understanding. Enjambment means sentences and phrases continue from one line to another without a grammatical force, which create curiosity and dramatic effects in the poem. When you read the poem, you can understand how a sentence has been written in 2 lines. A sentence does not end in 1 line. Rather, it runs in 2 or 3 lines. It creates curiosity and dramatic effects in the poem. Practice questions. I have given 4 questions. 1. How does the writer convey the secretive nature of an action in the poem, Meeting at Night? 2nd, critically analyze the themes in the poem, Meeting at Night, written by Robert Browning. 3rd, How do the poetic techniques used in the poem help the readers to sensualize the moments of the actions? Fourth, how are intended tones and moods created by the writer in the poem? Elaborates. I encourage the students to write answers for these practice questions in order to have further understanding of the poem. Thank you.